Hello, my name is HQ of HQ Reacts. Welcome to my channel. Please do me a favor. Hit the like button, share the stream, and click the notification button for new content.
Well, good morning, everyone, and Happy New Year. Like many Minnesotans, I have to tell you, I was glad to turn the page on 2025. It was an extraordinarily difficult year for our state, and it ended on a particularly sour note. For the last several years, an organized group of criminals have sought to take advantage of this state's generosity. And even as we make progress in the fight against the fraudsters, we now see an organized group of political actors seeking to take advantage of a crisis. I don't want to mince words here. Donald Trump and his allies in Washington and in St. Paul and online want to make our state a colder, meaner place.
Right out the gate, y'all. He framing last year's rough, not just because of fraud, but because the politics done got too good for him, too rough for his ass. I mean, it's around a full-blown controversy. He done let this whole Somali thing swallow his ass up. He's signaling this is bigger than rosy press releases. This has to do with a political fight. And he ain't trying to fight. Out the gate, he running.
They want to poison our people against each other by attacking our neighbors. And ultimately, they want to take away much of what makes Minnesota the best place in the country to raise a family. They've already begun trying to withhold funds that were meant to help families afford child care. And they have no intention of stopping there. Make no mistake, we should be concerned about fraud in our state government. We cannot effectively deliver programs and services if we can't earn the public's trust. That's why over the past few years, we've made systemic changes in the way we do business. We've gone to the legislature time and time again to get more tools to combat fraud. We've hired people we fired people who weren't doing their jobs. We've seen people go to jail for stealing from our state. We've cut off whole streams of funding in partnership with the federal government, where we saw widespread criminal activity. We've put new locks on the doors of our remaining programs, and we've hired a new head of program integrity to make sure that those locks can't be broken.
You listen how he shifts the policy response into political fighting language against the Republicans for weaponizing. The Republicans was good. They weaponized this against him, and they poisoned the whole thing. But he allowed that to happen. This is happened on his watch. But he's framing it like it's a fight against him and the Republicans in the state, and tells you this wasn't just an administrative problem anymore. It was a battle for the narrative control. He already lost the control. He already lost it. I don't know what he's gonna do. I know he better not stay in that state.
All across this state, Minnesotans are hard at work on this problem. Advocates, administrators, investigators are on the front lines defending the integrity of our state's programs. And I want to give a very heartfelt thank you to all of them. There is more to do. A single taxpayer dollar wasted on fraud should be intolerable. And while there's a role to play for everyone, from the legislature to prosecutors to insurance companies to local and county government, the buck does stop with me. My administration has been taking fast, decisive action to solve this crisis. We'll win the fight against the fraudsters. But the political gamesmanship we're seeing from Republicans is only making that fight harder. We've got Republicans here in the state legislature playing hide and seek with potential whistleblowers. We've got conspiracy theorist right-wing YouTubers breaking into our daycares, demanding access to our children. We've got the President of the United States demonizing our Somali neighbors and wrongfully confiscating funds that Minnesotans rely on.
See, now here's the point. He acknowledges that there's fraud, but says the politics around it is what's hurting the governance. Republicans turned this into a national attack line, and the Trump administration froze all those federal funds over this whole issue that wasn't even a current issue. This is not something that's current. I don't think it was current. I think this happened. Didn't this happen like 2 or 3 years ago? And all of the people are just now getting into people are getting sentences and whatnot. This is wild. It took down a governor, a good governor. Tim was a good governor.
It's disgusting and it's dangerous. Republicans are playing politics with the future of this state. It's shameful. And I've said it before, and I will continue to say it. We welcome ideas from anyone, in any party, from any walk of life, who wants to help us continue to stay ahead of these criminals. And we welcome the involvement of the federal government. I am grateful to the career professionals at the U.S. Attorney's Office and the FBI who have been helping us fight this fight for years. But I cannot abide the actions of the political leadership in Washington. These opportunists are willing to hurt our people to score cheap points.
Yeah, no, you say it's a current thing. It's not a current thing. They caught this fraud 2 or 3 years ago. This has just been an ongoing thing. This is not something that they just allowed to happen out of the blue. This has been happening for the past, they have been prosecuting these people for the past 2 or 3 years. That's the whole, the point is, he's not apologizing for this shit. He's not apologizing for none of this, not a thing. Think about what he just said. He refused to take responsibility for the fraud. He shouldn't have to. This has been going on. They've been fighting this.
Our allies have no intention of helping us solve this problem, and every intention of trying to profit off of it. Which brings me to this. 2026 is an election year. Election years have a way of ramping up the politics at a time when we simply can't afford more of that in Minnesota. In September, I announced that I would seek a historic third term as Minnesota's governor, and I have every confidence that if I gave it my all, we would win the race. But as I reflect on this moment with my family and my team over the holidays, I came to the conclusion that I can't give a political campaign my all. Every minute that I spend defending my own political interest would be a minute I can't spend defending the people of Minnesota against the criminals who prey on our generosity and the cynics who want to prey on our differences.
See, think about what he just said. He refused to drop out because of the fraud itself. He dropped out because handling political fallout of the fraud while campaigning would weaken his role as a governor. That's a very different message from a simple apology. Okay. Republicans used a viral video by a content creator exposing fraud in daycare centers to build a broader political narrative against this governor, including Somalia community, which put people in the Minnesota borders. Everybody named Mama was showing up in Minnesota. Everybody named Mama was showing up in Minnesota. That shit should never happen. You should have let the law take care of itself. Let the law play itself out. This was something that occurred. They found out about this fraud 2 or 3 years ago, and they've been prosecuting all these people.
So I've decided to step out of this race, and I'll let others worry about the election while I focus on the work that's in front of me for the next year. I'm passing on this race with zero sadness and zero regret. I did not run for this job to have the job. I ran for the job to do the job. Minnesota faces enormous challenges this year, and I refuse to spend a single minute doing anything other than rising to meet this moment. Minnesota has always come first and always will. That's what I believe servant leadership demands of me. As an optimist, I'll hold out some hope that my friends on the other side of the aisle will consider what servant leadership demands of them in the moment. We can work together to combat against the criminals. We can work together to rebuild the public's trust and make our state stronger. But make no mistake about it, if Republicans continue down the path of abusing power, smearing entire communities, and running their own fraudulent game at the expense of Minnesotans, I will fight back with everything that I have. I am absolutely confident a Democratic and a DFLer will hold this seat come November. I'm confident that I'll find ways to contribute to the state that I love long after next January. But there'll be time to worry about all that later. Today, I'm proud of the work we've done to make Minnesota America's best place to live and raise kids. From our new paid leave policy to our child tax credit to our school lunch programs feeding every single child. And I'm doubly proud of the incredible team we put together to make this vision a reality.
See, remember what? He was a 2024 Democratic pick and a rising star nationally. He was. And now he's stepping away from re-election in a state he actually governs, that he actually is already. He ain't going to prison. Stop that. He don't have nothing to do with the fraud. Y'all be goofy with y'all comments. Gunna 285. That don't even make no sense. Him stepping away from a state that he actually governs, that tells you something about how effective the political attacks against him have been. His own party is now looking at replacements, even before he even came out and said, I'm gone. Names like, what is there? That Klobuchar person are being floated. I don't know whether she quitting or she put a resignation in for the Senate or not. I don't know. This is wild. These people, this is wild.
I want to take a moment to thank every member of my staff, to every single state employee who has been part of this fight. Now more than ever, I need you on the job. I need you to help work together to tackle the important work in front of us. And most of all, I want Minnesotans to know how grateful I am for the opportunity to serve this state, for the privilege that I have been given to serve in this office. I'm on the job. I'm focused on making sure that we stay America's best place to live and raise kids. No one will take that away from us. I'm proud of the way we treat our neighbors. I'm proud of the way that we welcome people to this state. I'm proud of the way that we innovate. And I'm proud of the way that we are optimists for the future. No one's taking this away from us. Not the fraudsters, certainly not this president, not on my watch. Tomorrow, I'll be back with you. I'll give you an update on America's best paid family medical leave program that is now a week into it. And at that time, I'll take all your questions. Thank you all.
Right. I mean, he wasn't just caught in the scandal. He found himself in a political battle over the scandal. And he concluded that defending his record might have cost him more than it would have gained him to stay. So that's why he walked away. Not because he was a fraud. He's not a fraud. The fraud is real. But this fraud started over 2 years ago. It started over 2 years ago. So he's not the fraudster. The Somali people, specific people, a white lady named Bonk or whatever her name is, Botch, she started the fraud. I just found out I was a white lady who started the fraud, and then everybody else fell behind her. So this is not his fault. True. The one thing I can agree on is he should have known something was going awry in his state. That's why he didn't have good people around him to let him know there were certain things going on. I don't know whether the governor knows these things or governor, and that's why I did the video about Ilhan Omar. She's a Somali. She knows these people better. She's got relatives in the state. She's got relatives in that town. It's right in her district. She went back to her district every week. All of those businesses were surrounding her, and she says she didn't know nothing about it. I don't believe that. I don't believe that you didn't know something. Okay? You didn't know something. And that was your town. But then that's just me. That's just me. Why you didn't know nothing? Omar's about to say you wild as hell on top of it. Let's listen to the president. The president said some crazy shit here.
President, you came from a different way this time.
Yeah, a little bit different. We have some good people. We have Senator Lindsey Graham.
Hello,
We
everybody.
have Howard Lutnick, Commerce. We have Steve Miller. We have a lot of people. We have Aaron. We have a lot of people. Go ahead.
Hi, Mr. President. Have you spoken with any of the U.S. service members who were injured during that operation in Venezuela?
Yes, we have calls into them. I want to speak.
Wait a minute. All right. Okay. See, people say in this whole thing, the president casually talks about bombing Venezuela, the capture of a president, and then almost like it's nothing, he hints at possible actions towards other countries. This is a whole what? This gaggle is wild as hell. He hints to the fact that he may invade Cuba, Colombia, Mexico, even Greenland. What the hell is going on with this president? This is not being spoken like it's a tragedy. It ain't even treated as controversial. I don't get it. It's presented like a checklist that he doing. So we did it. It worked. Let's move on. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to play these sections. I'm going to stop. I'm going to listen to the shit he got to say. But just, this shit is wild. I swear this president just be saying some shit.
They're all in good shape.
Can you detail what watching that was like when all of this played out in Venezuela and what Maduro was doing that moment?
Well, I knew the possible danger. I mean, it was a very dangerous operation. It was amazing that we had a few injured, but all are in good shape right now. But I knew there was great danger. You got off a helicopter. The helicopters were being shot at. They got on the ground. They were amazing talent and tremendous patriotism, bravery. The bravery was incredible. Lindsay, they got off the helicopter and the bullets were flying all over the place. As you know, one of the helicopters got hit pretty badly, but we got everything back. And nobody killed.
The next question is who's in charge of Venezuela right now? Have you spoken to the...
He said he opens with like they just jumped out the plane, the helicopter, bullets flying, helicopter getting hit. But notice what he didn't say. No mention of people who got hurt. None of them Venezuelan people getting hurt. No mention of the people on the ground. Just a few hundred on our side. Nobody, a few injured on our side. Nobody killed on our side. So what happened from the very beginning, the only lies that seem to count in this story are the American ones. But you went into their country. You went into their country and bombed their shit. And the way he tells it, the way he talks about it, you can hear the excitement. You can hear the grandioseness. You can hear the braggadociousness in this president. Like he's impressed with the spectacle, with what they actually did, with the hurting of those people. It's framed as a dangerous but successful, exciting, not a serious moral decision to bomb another country. It didn't even sound like he gave a damn.
Newly sworn in president there, Rodriguez. And what are your thoughts on the entire situation when you said the U.S. would run Venezuela?
We're dealing with the people. We're dealing with the people that just got sworn in. And don't ask me who's in charge because I'll give you an answer and it'll be very controversial.
What does that mean?
That means we're in charge.
Have you spoken with her?
We're in charge.
Have you spoken with her?
No, I haven't, but other people
Do you want to?
Yeah, at the right time, I will.
Did the U.S. give Delcy Rodriguez any guarantees in exchange for cooperating
No,
with your administration?
but she's cooperating.
Are you going to demand free and fair elections in the short term in Venezuela?
Well, it depends. What you're talking. We have to do one thing in Venezuela, bring it back. It's a dead country right now. It's a country that, frankly, we would have been, if I had lost the election, we would have been a dead country.
He said, who's in charge? Who is in charge? We're in charge. That's wild. That's what. Who's in charge? Don't ask me. Don't ask me. It'll be controversial. What do you mean it'll be controversial? He's saying the quiet part out loud. The reporter said, who in charge? He said, it'll be controversial. Oh, hell no. It means we're in charge. What does that mean? Don't that mean that's boots on the ground? Don't that mean we got to go in there and get some shit? If we gonna go go into the country, go in there and run it. Go in there and take the shit. Don't sit back and let the rest of them do them other people that been running it. Go in there and take some shit. This is occupation language. That's not supported democracy. This is occupation. That's claiming ownership over another country. Is that what we doing? Is that what we doing? I'm not officially I'm not advocating for war, but I'm saying if you're gonna go in there, get everything that you can. That's all I'm saying. I'm not supporting, I'm not against. I'm saying if you're gonna go in there, do the good stuff and get everything you can and straighten out the country. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. He said so casual, like who's in charge? We in charge. It's like a flex. It ain't nothing to be ashamed of. He ain't ashamed. He ain't ashamed at all. This president is rocking.
Venezuela would have been Venezuela on steroids. Venezuela right now is a dead country. We have to bring it back, and we're going to have big investments by the oil companies to bring back the infrastructure. And the oil companies are ready to go. They're going to go in. They're going to rebuild the infrastructure. You know, we built it to start off with many years ago. They took it away. You can't do that. And you can't do that with me. They did it with other presidents.
How soon do you think an election can take place in Venezuela? How soon can an election?
Wait a minute. Hold on. You see what happened, right? He calls Venezuela a dead country. And what's the very first thing he jumps into? Not democracy, not going over there to help the people, not going over there to do nothing to make it better. No human rights, no food, no medicine, no safety, no nothing. Give the people some help. No, it's the oil companies. We're gonna have big investments by the oil companies. We're not going to invest anything. That's the key line. What he's really trying to say is we'll control it. Private corporations profit it, and the U.S. government doesn't have to put money into it, just the power. This is wild. This is wild. This is wild. We are living through this real time where we have a dictator on our hands.
Election take place?
Well, I think we're looking more at getting it fixed, getting it ready first, because it's a mess. The country is a mess. It's been horribly run. The oil is just flowing at a very low level, much lower than, even if it was badly run, it should have more income, more oil than what they're doing. So we're going to have the big oil companies go in.
Black America, I sure had that same idea. You let me find a way to get over to Venezuela. Let me find a way to get over there and make some of that money. I sure will.
And they're going to fix the infrastructure. They're going to invest money. We're not going to invest anything. We're going to just take care of the country. We're going to cherish the country. We're going to take care, more importantly, of the people, including Venezuelans that are living in our country that were forced to leave their country. And they're going to be taken.
I say, Trump, call me. Call HQ. HQ know how to straighten it out. I sure do. We'll be up and running in 2 years. Everything. We be up and running. That's what I do.
Very good care of. Yes, ma'am.
Have you spoken with the oil companies about
Yes.
going into Venezuela?
I have.
Which ones? Have you received any commitments?
All of them, basically.
Any commitments from the oil companies?
They want to go in so badly.
Did you speak with them before the operation took place?
Yes.
Did you maybe tip them off about what
Before and after. And they want to go in, and they're going to do a great job for the people of Venezuela. And they're going to represent us well.
What happens
But
to
you know,
this?
the infrastructure is rusty, rotten, most of it unusable. It's old, it's broken. You see pipes laying all over the ground. Nothing's been invested for years. Chevron's in, as you know, they've done a good job, but even they haven't been in a position to invest money because they're at a month-to-month basis.
What happens to this?
They're only there because I wanted them to be there.
are there any contingencies in case that the military in Venezuela is unhappy with the U.S. the way it's running Venezuela? Do you guys have plans for anything?
So Venezuela thus far has been very nice, but it helps to have a force like we have. You know, we were ready for a second wave. We were all set to go, but we don't think we're going to need it.
There's about 17 billion worth of oil reserves in Venezuela.
More.
Is that going to be?
You mean trillion?
And is that going to be
Did you
something?
say billion or trillion?
I said billion.
You said 17 billion? It's much more than that.
Okay, so what is going to happen to those reserves?
Well, we're going to run everything. We're going to run it, fix it. We'll have elections at the right time. the main thing you have to face, it's a broken country. There's no money. There's inflation. Like we would have had, if I didn't win this election, we would have been Venezuela on steroids.
Well, he stopped saying that. We would not have been Venezuela on steroids. We would have been in a better position than we are now. Enough said. What's going to happen? The reporter said, what's going to happen now to the oil reserve? He doesn't say nothing about the Venezuela people having any kind of say in it. He said, we're going to run everything. We decide when elections is going to happen. Remember yesterday when that reporter asked Marco Rubio about elections, and Marco Rubio said, elections? What the fuck you mean, elections? This is wild. We run the oil. We control the timeline. Textbook regime change. But they didn't have no idea what they was going to do. You call it whatever you want, but when you decide who runs the country, when elections happen, or who runs the oil infrastructure, that's control. That's not helping them people. You ain't helping them people. You're going there for you, not to help them damn people.
Lindsay would know that. You might say something on that because we were talking before. We would have had a doubling up of very bad things that cost us a lot of money, like welfare, frankly. We wouldn't have had jobs. And instead of having $18 trillion in, we would have had at least $5 to $10 trillion leaving the country. So our costs would have gone up, and all of the money we're setting a record. It's long broken. And that's it. That's after 10 months. We haven't included the 11th month yet. So we think we're going to hit over $20 trillion. The all-time record is 3 by another country known as China. About 10 years ago, they did 3. We're going to do close to 20 trillion.
What is this goofy shit about tariffs, and the tariffs is going to hit a record high? I truly believe this president just be talking because he thinks, but see, he can't be wrong because a lot of you goofy people be quoting the same stuff he be saying. So you got to be listening to this garbage. Just because he says it doesn't make it true. I don't understand. But then again, he understands. He's a marketing genius. He understands your goofies are going to follow right along with him. Listen to what he said. 18 trillion. Our deficit is only 29 trillion. He's just saying stuff. Ain't no such thing as no 18 trillion damn dollars. Stop it. Y'all, come on. Stop. Y'all got to listen to what the hell he's saying. Listen to what he's saying.
By the way, there has never been anything like this ever before. And it's all because of tariffs and the election. But it's because of tariffs.
There was a time.
Without tariffs, we wouldn't have 10 cents being invested.
There was a time back in 2016, I remember your RNC speech, and you were saying that regime change and nation building.
Where?
When you were speaking at the RNC back in 2016,
Go ahead,
you were criticizing regime change and nation building, the U.S. being involved in that. It seems obviously that your stance has changed on that. What led to that? And is the U.S. nation building now? Is that?
This isn't a country that's on the other side of the world. This isn't a country like we have to travel 24 hours in an airplane. This is Venezuela. It's in our area. The Don Road Doctrine.
So is that what you would say, that we're in the business of nation building
no,
now?
we're in the business of having countries around us that are viable and successful, and where the oil is allowed to freely come out because that's good. It gets the prices down. That's good for our country. Now, we have a very sick neighbor. It's not a neighbor, but it's close to a neighbor, and that's Venezuela. It's very sick. Colombia is very sick, too, run by a sick man who likes making cocaine and selling it to the United States. And he's not going to be doing it very long, let me tell you.
What does that mean? He's not going to be doing it very long.
He's not doing it very long. He has cocaine mills and cocaine factories. He's not going to be doing it very long.
So there will be an operation by the U.S.
It sounds good to me.
Secretary Rubio mentioned.
You know why? Because they kill a lot of people. Yeah.
Secretary Rubio mentioned Cuba yesterday in his remarks. Does the U.S. have a plan to do something?
Well, Cuba always survived.
Wait. He was asked, didn't you used to be against regime change and nation building? Instead of saying, I changed my mind, he said, oh, this is different. This is in our area. So he's really admitting we're willing to do regime change in our neighborhood, which means every country that's around us should be concerned and worried about what the hell is going on with this president. Of course, Colombia's leader, a sick man, accused him of making cocaine, said he's not going to be doing it very long. That sounds an awful lot like telling people he's about to go in there and do what he got to do against that president. That Venezuela ain't the only one. Colombia might be one too. Today is Venezuela. Tomorrow it might sound good that he want to go into Colombia. Wow.
Because of Venezuela, now they won't have that money coming in. They won't have the income coming in. You know, a lot of Cubans were killed yesterday. You know that. A lot of Cubans were killed.
Do you know how many?
The bodyguards. No, they're looking, but there was a lot of death on the other side. No death on our side, but there was a lot of death on the other side, unfortunately. But a lot of Cubans were killed yesterday, trying to protect him.
There's been protesters killed in Iran. You said we were locked and loaded, ready to go. What is the line there for when the U.S. is going to get involved in those protests?
We'll take a look. We're watching it very closely. If they start killing people like they have in the past, I think they're going to get hit very hard by the United States.
Can I just add something? So when he first got elected in January, we met, biggest comeback ever. We talked about
You think so, really? I didn't feel it was a couple. Because the first one was.
The bottom line is, we talked about a drug caliphate in our backyard.
Oh shit.
We had Venezuela, we have Cuba, we have Colombia in our backyard. And these three countries have been condemned ever since I've been in politics. Joe Biden put a $25 billion bounty on Maduro's head. Chris Smith, today he got inaugurated, said, I hope Trump will hold Maduro's feet to the fire. He did. So what has he done? He's going to clear our backyard of a drug caliphate. Countries run by narco-terrorist dictators who murder, rape, send drugs into our country to kill thousands of our citizens. To my Democratic friends, you should be celebrating this.
He said, now let's pause. A few things. He casually mentions a lot of Cubans were killed yesterday. Like it's a side note. Not really giving any attention to those people. No names, no numbers, no nothing. Just a lot of them. Yeah, we did a lot. We killed a lot of people. It's wild. He threatens Iran. They're going to get hit very hard. So the language of punishment is still there. And then you got that weak milquetoast Lindsey Graham jump up like he hyping his ass up, calling this a big freaking deal, saying the president has cleared our backyard. Notice what they doing. The Latin American countries are now grouped together as a drug caliphate. The U.S. is the cleaner, the enforcer, the big brother, the big kahuna. What do Venezuelans want? What do Colombian people want? What do Cuban people want? What's legal under this international law? It's all about we did it. We can do it again. We're going to do it again. We're going to do it again. And you should be grateful that the big white man, Donald Trump, jumped his ass up there and came in there and saved y'all. We should be grateful that you came over here and saved us. That's what the hell he sound like he's saying. And Lindsey Graham, too. Hype man.
Bin Laden went down. I was the first to applaud President Obama. This was one of the most sophisticated military operations in the history of the country. What they were able to do was amazing. They knew we were coming. We had a good part of the Navy, and they were able to capture this man alive. No military in the world could have done it. And as to this commander-in-chief, he did something people talked about doing. You just wait for Cuba. Cuba is a communist dictatorship that's killed priests and nuns. They've preyed on their own people. Their days are numbered. We're going to wake up one day, I hope in 26, in our backyard, we're going to have allies in these countries doing business with America, not narco-terrorist dictators killing Americans. This is a big frigging day. And everybody in the world is thinking differently than they were just a few days ago because of what you did.
By the way, you know, you mentioned something that's interesting. Lindsay mentioned bin Laden. You know, I wrote about bin Laden 1 year before the attack on the World Trade Center. And I said, you got to go after bin Laden. It was in my book. And very few people want to say that, but it was in my book. You know that. I think you've actually talked about it. But if they would have listened to me, they would have taken out bin Laden, and you wouldn't have had the World Trade Center tragedy.
Yeah, this is certainly going.
Did you know that? I predict.
He said the bin Laden story is there to paint himself as some savior, ignored. But what matters is what comes of that. I'm going to clean up our backyard. Watch. Listen.
Predicted bin Laden.
I learn something every day.
No, but did you hear that?
Well, I didn't know. I just heard it right
now. I wrote a book. It was 1 year before the attack that the book came out. And it talked about, there's a whole page, a whole section dedicated to a guy named bin Laden who's a bad guy.
Somebody need to be looking that up.
So I'll get the book. But right after the election, he told me, I'm going to clean up our backyard. Now, this was before he took office. This is one of the president's priorities, is to make sure that people in our backyard, narco-terrorist states, will not continue to kill Americans without the number of people that will be alive today because Venezuela will be in different hands is going to be tens of thousands. This is something to be celebrated, whether you like him or not.
Not just Venezuela. It's what's coming out of Venezuela in the form of ocean-going and Gulf-going and sea-going boats. Every time we knock out a boat, and we've done a lot of them, we did 3 over the last few days. They're very rare now. You don't see too many of them.
Hard to read.
But drugs by sea are down 97%.
97%. Shut your mouth. See, they said I'm going to clean up the backyard. Who the hell wants to be in a damn boat and get blown up because I'm out there fishing? See, the Monroe Doctrine language in plain English is the idea that the U.S. treats the Western Hemisphere like its sphere to manage. We are the dominant country within that sphere of countries. South America, North America, Greenland, they're all in our Colombia, Cuba, all of those things are in our sphere. So that's what the Monroe Doctrine is trying to cover. We're going to take control of all of this stuff. They trying to take control of all of that stuff. This is wild. They got an idea. They know what they're doing now. They have an idea. If you're going to go in there and get everything. Okay, so this pattern is very, very clear. Venezuela is step number 1. Cuba is ready to fall. Colombia's leader was threatened. Didn't y'all hear that? Venezuela, Cuba is ready to go. Colombia's leader is being threatened. Mexico described it as run by cartels. When you string all of this together, this ain't no one-off strike. This president is trying to get all of that. To the victor go the spoils. It's a vision for reshaping the entire region by force or by threat. This is what this is. We thought that Venezuela was it. Venezuela ain't it. It's more.
Think of that. And now we're going to stop them by land too. The land is easy. We had to do the sea before we did the land because it just works out.
Yeah, you were just talking about the land, but it sounded like.
And by the way, you have to do something with Mexico. Mexico has to get their act together because they're pouring through Mexico, and we're going to have to do something. We'd love Mexico to do it. They're capable of doing it. But unfortunately, the cartels are very strong in Mexico.
I remember one time you actually, speaking of Mexico, I asked you about Claudia Sheinbaum, and you told me at one point you had offered to send U.S. troops into Mexico to combat drug trafficking there. Is that something you would
I like Claudia.
Now?
I think she's a terrific person. I would say every single time I talk to her, I offered to send troops.
And she's just not willing?
She's concerned. She's a little afraid. The cartels are running Mexico. Whether you like it or not, it's not nice to say, but the cartels The cartels are running Mexico.
And speaking of those U.S. troops, I mean, one thing that Americans and a lot of people are wondering, you just sounded like you weighed out another strike, another land strike, at least in Venezuela. You sound like you weighed that out. But
Well, we haven't. We didn't need it.
But,
We're prepared to do a second strike if we need it. We're totally prepared.
but that's off
We're
the
still
table.
prepared.
That's off the table now.
No, it's not. If they don't behave, we will do a second strike. Well,
Y'all gotta be listening. You gotta be listening to what he's saying. He's saying the cartels are running Mexico. Every time I talk to their president, I offer to send troops. Didn't y'all hear that? Didn't y'all hear that? Every time he talked to the president, he offers to send troops. Think about what that sounds like from the other side of the freaking border. Your neighborhood keeps suggesting sending in the military into your country while calling your leadership weak and territory cartel controlled. What does that mean? That means I'm finna come for you if you don't control your shit. That's constant pressure and humiliation, not partnership. He ain't trying to be no partner with no Mexico. He said, your neighborhood, your neighbor, the Mexican is looking at this from their angle saying, why this motherfucker keep saying he finna send his troops into here? Because he finna send his troops into there for you. Mexico is on the, he's saber rattling. Y'all hit the like, share, and subscribe button. I appreciate it. Like, share, and subscribe. Cash apps are amazing. Super chats are welcome. I would appreciate all of these things for this content that we have every day. Please and thank you. Hit the like and the share and the subscribe. Thank you.
The question is the American troops, are they going to be on the ground? They're doing any kind of peacekeeping? I think Americans are very...
It depends on what happens. It depends a little bit on the new administration, if you want to call it.
So if you see that pushback from Rodriguez and ultimately...
Well, I don't think it was pushback. I think that...
She called it...
Well, you hear a different person than I hear.
Really? So you have spoken with them?
We talked to them, yeah.
Oh, you did speak with them?
They've been very good.
Because she called it kidnapping of Maduro.
It's all right. It's not a bad term. Go ahead.
Now, are you going to demand that Delcy Rodriguez let opposition figures return or free any political prisoners?
We haven't gotten to that yet. Right now, what we want to do is fix up the oil, fix up the country, bring the country back, and then have elections.
Now, is it?
You know how he sound? He sound like he trying to do a second strike up in there. Ground troops, depending on how they behave. Shit. Oh, okay. Sorry. Depending on how they behave. And then he kind of jokes about the word kidnapping, saying it's not a bad term. It's not a bad term. Kidnapping ain't a bad term. I just kidnapped the whole president of a whole nother country. Kidnapping ain't bad. So he openly accepts the idea that we bombed your country and snatched your president. It ain't no big deal to him. And instead of denying it, he just blows it off like it ain't nothing. Like what he did, what he did the other day ain't nothing. That tells you how confident he feels that there will be no, and I mean no repercussions, because ain't nobody gonna stop him.
Is it fair? We better bring the country back, otherwise you're gonna have a mess that's so bad. It was really bad. It's gonna get a lot worse unless we go in and fix it.
Is the U.S. going to reopen its embassy in Caracas or get the DEA?
We're thinking about it. We've been asked to do it.
We've
actually been asked to do it.
Do you think the
Exactly, Rainbow Kid, exactly.
Zelensky at Mar-a-Lago.
Yeah.
You told me that
numerous times.
You told me that your New Year's resolution was peace on earth. Do you think that 2026, if you could set a deadline of when the Russia-Ukraine
I don't do deadlines, but I would say that, like as an example, Thailand and Cambodia.
Well,
I was very proud of that. Wait a minute. And they started up again and they got it solved.
Where does it
I give myself 1/4 of a point for that. So now I'm 8 1/4 points because they started up Thailand and Cambodia and now it's okay.
So where does it actually stand between Russia
I think
and
we'll have a
Ukraine
deal
right
at some point, hopefully in the not too distant. So I don't know if you saw the numbers just came out. 30,000 soldiers were killed this current month.
There was that intelligence.
30,000.
Where?
27,000 the month before.
You and Senator Graham discussed additional Russia sanctions.
We discuss it all the time. There's nothing else I talk to him. I don't consider him very exciting to talk to, except when we're talking about legislation. And we talk about legislation all the time. You think that's an exciting relationship? It's not. But we talk a lot about legislation, and we have great legislation coming. You want to tell us?
So the tariff bill. So here's what I believe. I don't think we could have secured the border without the threat of tariffs. I don't think we'd have a European trade deal without the threat of tariffs.
See, you notice that they're gonna fix up the oil thing, then they're gonna fix up the country, then they're gonna have elections. Democracy is not step one. So people in the chat saying he cares about the Venezuelan people. He don't give a damn about them Venezuelan people. He don't give a damn. That's just a byproduct. Step 3, everything democracy is after step the oil start flowing. They don't care. Then he jumps to Russia and Ukraine and rattles off some crazy shit about casualty numbers. What the fuck? Did he say 20,000? The line war and death are just numbers and levers in a big game this dude is playing. See, I told y'all we ain't nothing but waiters and cooks in the world of these rich people.
If you want to end this conflict, then put pressure on Putin's customers. He sanctioned the 2 largest oil companies in Russia, which is the biggest pressure anybody's put on Putin since the war started. But we have 85 co-sponsors to give this president.
It's hurting Russia very bad, the sanctions.
Oh, yeah. So this bill would allow.
And India also is full.
Yes, sir. So you put a 25% tariff on India for buying Russian oil. I was at the Indian ambassador's house about a month ago, and all he wanted to talk about is how they're buying less Russian oil. Would you tell the president to relieve the tariff? This stuff works. So I'm hoping we'll bring the bill up, and it's from 0 to 500. He picks the number. Nobody else does. But if you're buying cheap Russian oil, keeping Putin's war machine going, we're trying to give the president the ability.
Wait a minute. What the fuck does this mean? What in the fuck does that mean on the screen? What in the fuck are you talking about? You just walked in the chat. This is what I mean. Walking in the chat and crashing out over nothing. Are you retarded? What the hell is wrong with you?
To make that a hard choice by tariffs. I really do believe that what he did with India is the chief reason India is now buying substantially less Russian oil. So I hope we pass this bill soon. And after this,
they wanted to make me happy, basically. He wanted to. Modi's a very good man.
Yes,
he's a good guy. He knew I was not happy, and it was important to make me happy. They do trade, and we could raise tariffs on them very quickly, and it would be
people are afraid of that.
All of that to say, you told me you weren't very thrilled.
And I'll tell you something: the Russian economy is lousy, but what's really lousy is the Venezuelan economy. The Venezuelan economy is, I think, the worst economy I've ever seen. If you look at inflation, things are doubling every day.
It's stolen blood.
It's a disaster. We got to fix the country fast.
See, he uses Venezuelans' pain, their hyperinflation, their empty economy as both justification for the intervention and the business opportunity. He don't even get worst economy I've ever seen. We got to fix the country fast. But fixing means oil companies coming in first, minerals, steel, aluminum, rare earth processing. So yet again, human suffering is real, but the solution being sold is corporate extraction supervised by the United States. They don't give a damn about them Venezuelan people. They don't give a damn about them people. Wow.
President Trump, are there going to be any more? You said the oil companies are going to go in there. Are there any other companies that you've talked to about dealing with Venezuela? Maybe Mr. Lutnick could talk about that. Are there any other corporations, entities outside?
Outside of the oil business. Well, the oil business, yes, but outside, yes. Howard, yours?
They have steel, you have minerals, right? All the critical minerals. They have a great mining history that's gone rusty. So steel, aluminum, minerals, I mean, this is all, it's a rich. It was once upon a time one of the great economies and cultures of the world, and it was destroyed. And now President Trump is going to fix it and bring it back
It's got
for the
potential,
Venezuela.
but it's not easy.
Oh,
It's
no.
really gone bad,
Any rare earth?
but it's got potential. What?
Maybe any rare earth minerals?
They have rare earth, but everybody has rare earth. Rare earth is not rare. What's rare is the processing.
We got
We're
almost
doing
all of it.
processing plants on that. That's right. There's no such thing as rare earth. The rare earth is everywhere. What isn't everywhere is the processing of rare earth, and we have a lot of places going up right now.
One thing we haven't heard you specifically react to is the Minnesota fraud.
But see here, that ain't that Howard Lutnick, I think. Yeah, Howard Lutnick. Now you have Wall Street Business Voice chiming in, basically giving the investor pitch. We got steel, aluminum, mineral, rare earth, blah, blah, blah. And Trump jumps in to clarify the business deals, the business model. Rare earth is not rare. What's rare is processing. We're building processing plants. So this moment is real clear right here. They are openly discussing Venezuela, not as a traumatized nation, not at all, but as a bundle of assets that were destroyed, and now they need to be brought back under their control, of course, and for their benefit, of course, not for the benefit of the Venezuelan people. This shit is wild. These are bandits. These are degenerate people.
We've seen play out.
Well, it just doesn't get worse. I've reacted. It's almost not even believable. This very stupid, low IQ governor, he's a very stupid man, because, I had a campaign against him with JD, and he's a stupid man, and he's a corrupt politician, and the Somalians are ripping off our country to the tune of, looks like $19 billion, but that's only what they can find. So usually when you look at it 19, that would mean it could be 50, but the numbers are astronomical. Think of it. They have a dead country. They don't have government. They don't have anything. They don't have a military. All they do is run around shooting people and trying to capture ships. We don't let them take ships anymore. You know why? We use the same exact missile on them that we use on the drug carriers. And it's very effective.
So,
You notice there's nobody capturing ships anymore? Because as they head out to go capture the ship, and the ship doesn't want to fire back because it's very flammable stuff in many cases. And the insurance companies don't want, because they build $1 billion ship, and they don't want anybody firing rockets into the ship. But we're hitting them so hard, and it's very similar. Same missile system. It's called deadly accurate. And do you notice that ships aren't being taken anymore? The pirates are.
That's right. I hadn't thought about
The
it.
pirates aren't. Well,
No Somali
it's
pirates.
actually very easy. They head out. We say, guess what? There's pirates. Bing. That's the end of the pirate.
Oh, heck, no. Wow. This is where he starts forming part and veers into that braggadocious bullshit. This is crazy. Targeting a specific community of Somali immigrants for one, tying them to the fraud and theft on a massive scale. I get all that. Singling out one member of Congress by name, you need to stop that. You sound really trashy. He really need to stop that. And saying she should be forced to leave the country, you really trash for saying that kind of shit. This is not just policy talk. He's scapegoating that girl. Then he brags about using the same missiles on pirates as on drug boats, calling it deadly accurate. And he's almost pleased, almost giddy that the ships aren't being taken anymore because they're destroying people before they reach the target. It's a worldview where problems are solved by force first. And entire groups, immigrants, pirates, politicians he don't like, get flattened. This is crazy. I don't understand how people don't see the maniacal, the maniac. I don't see.
The shipping business is coming back, because see, these are little things that we're doing, and I'm doing it not just for American ships. I'm doing it worldwide, because we don't want ships taken by Somalia pirates. But what they are doing is they're stealing money from the American taxpayer. And every one of them should be forced to leave this country, including Ilhan Omar, who's a total crook. And she's one of the leaders of it. Not the only, because she's not that smart. But think of it, $19 billion at least they've stolen from Minnesota and from the United States. It's actually more from the United States because Minnesota puts in, and we're not going to pay it anymore. We're going to have Walz go pay. We're not going to pay them, and we're not going to pay California, and we're not going to pay Illinois with that big slob of a governor that they have that doesn't want. You know, we brought down crime by 25%. He didn't do anything. He's not doing anything. But they want us to leave. He had a day where they had 17 murders, not too long ago. 17 murders and 77 people shot, but 17 died. And then he talks about, we can handle it. He can't handle it. But we pull back, and we'll go in at the appropriate time. But we're the ones that brought the crime down. We brought it down 20%. They didn't bring it down. Pritzker didn't bring it down. Same thing with Gavin Newsom. If we didn't go in to Los Angeles 7 months ago when they had the riots, even the police commission, the head of police, said if we didn't have the federal government go in, we would have lost total control of the city of Los Angeles.
You all hit that like, share, and subscribe button. I appreciate the like, share, and the subscribe. Cash apps are great. Super chats are welcome. We don't have the super chat thing up, but the cash app thing up, but we do have super chats. Super chats will be appreciated. I would like to start getting super chats. That'd be amazing because I see a lot of y'all every day. It would be amazing if people would give super chat. They don't mind giving super chats to other places. I'd appreciate super chats here, and thank you. Please hit the like, share, and subscribe.
And they would have had to cancel the Olympics. Think of that.
Speaking of Los Angeles, the National Guard, you pulled out the National Guard out of Portland.
We did.
In Los Angeles.
And you know what? You know that Portland, we got it down to almost no crime. You know that? But we pulled it out. We had a Supreme Court decision. We can go back. We're allowed to go back in. But we'll go back in when the crime starts. Look, the crime will soon start because they now know that we're out. And at the appropriate time, we'll go back in. And we may, if we're allowed to. The most powerful thing we haven't used the Insurrection Act.
You're considering using the Insurrection
I've always considered it, but we haven't needed it anywhere. 48% of the presidents of this country have used it. Bush used it, I think, 22 times or something. You know that, right? I mean, Bush the elder.
Now, what are your short-term next 2 weeks? What do you need from Delcy Rodriguez? You threatened
just total access. We need total access. We need access to the oil and to other things.
No, don't worry about voting. Don't worry about the people. Don't worry about none of that. You just need access to the oil. That's all he caring about.
In their country that allow us to rebuild their country.
What other things?
A lot of things. Roads that aren't built, bridges that are falling down. Yeah, bridges that are falling down, nobody can go anywhere.
And on Greenland,
On Greenland now?
Yeah, on Greenland.
How did we come up to Greenland?
So
you notice he put the insurrection in his back pocket, the tool he can deploy the U.S. military domestically. But I could have sworn that the Supreme Court told him you better check yourself when it comes to the military. He said, I've always considered it. Other presidents have done it. That it's meant to sound normal, but think about the pattern. Military broad for regime changes, threats of force against neighbors and American citizens, hinting he might bring that same force mindset inside the country. It's a consistent thing. Problems are a nail, and the hammer is always ready. This is a dictator, and he loves this shit. No, we can't. Somebody needs to put a muzzle on this dog.
Do you expect to take an action against Greenland?
Well, I don't want to talk about Greenland. Let's talk about Venezuela, Russia, Ukraine. We'll worry about Greenland in about 2 months. Let's talk about Greenland in 20 days.
Whoa. Let's talk about Greenland in 20 days? In 20 days? What? What happens in 20 days? That's the thing. What happens in 20 days? No, I ain't nowhere near lost.
Not so much about energy.
By the way, I will say this about Greenland. We need Greenland from a national security.
We need act. While we need
situation. It's so strategic. Right now, Greenland is covered with Russian and Chinese ships all over the place. We need Greenland from the standpoint of national security. And Denmark is not going to be able to do it, I can tell you. You know what Denmark did recently to boost up security in Greenland? They added one more dog sled. It's true. They thought that was a great move.
What would the justification be for a claim to Greenland?
Oh, I don't want to talk about Greenland now. I just say this. We need Greenland from the standpoint of national security. And the European Union needs us to have it. And they know that.
I think there's some confusion about.
y'all see that? That's wild. We need total access to the oil and other than rebuild the country, total access. Plus, we're going to run everything. Then you want to go to Greenland. We need Greenland. Claims Russia and China are all over it probably. This is wild. Y'all see, we see foreign policy being played out on a plane in a space that's 10 by 20 or some shit. This is wild.
Operation in Venezuela will affect your relationship with Xi Jinping and China?
No, I don't think so. I have a very good relationship. We have the power of tariffs, and he has other powers on us.
Are you still planning to travel to see him in April?
Yeah, I'll be going in April.
I think there's some confusion from Americans and maybe the community in the world when it comes to what you said about Rodriguez earlier today in a phone interview. You said that she would face the same fate, if not worse, than Maduro. But it sounds like you're talking to her on the phone and wanting to work with her.
My people are just the same thing.
Are considering her in power. Can you just clarify where you stand on Delcy Rodriguez right now being in power?
I don't have to tell you. I just say that she will face a situation probably worse than Maduro, because Maduro gave up immediately.
So she could also.
He raised his hand. He gave up, and he did the right thing, but he gave up. So we were so effective, and it was so fast and violent. It was very violent. But we were so effective. He raised his hands. He gave up.
What was the most violent moment?
I don't want to tell you. There are some bad moments, but there were some very violent moments. I don't want to tell you.
Did you get a briefing at all on Maduro's first night in U.S.
Yes.
What can you tell us?
I have a total briefing on every aspect of it, but I don't think it's appropriate to talk to the press about it. You'll find out.
When it comes to him in court tomorrow, I mean, what's the end game here with Maduro?
There is no end game. We're just going to go through a slog of a trial. The judge is very respected. Judge Hellerstein is a highly respected judge. We'll see how we do. The case it's infallible. And people are so happy with what we've done. You go down to Miami, you go down to a lot of places, and they're all dancing in the streets of this country. Now, he was a rough man. Killed millions of people. He killed millions and millions of people.
Yeah, that's true. Right here, he openly threatens Delcy Rodriguez with a fate worse than Maduro. After admitting that Maduro was captured violently and taken into U.S. custody, he wouldn't admit exactly what happened. So he's using public threats. He's using public threats as a part of his diplomacy, as his strategy. This is foreign policy right in front of us. This is wild. This is intimidation right in front of us. Then he calls infallible, the case infallible, before the trial even starts. This is wild. Killed millions and millions and millions of people. So we got public threats, predetermined guilt. The dude is guilty already. Inflated rhetoric. It all works to paint an extreme action. You deserve whatever come your way. That's what he's saying. You deserve it.
After he stands
Can I just say something? We got that. This is a good thing, not a bad thing. President Biden put a $25 billion bounty on the guy's head. Why? Because he was a horrible criminal, murderer, poisoning our people. Every administration has been saying he's a threat to our country. He's a bad guy. This is the first guy that's actually done something about it. Here's the story for me. He could be in Turkey today, but he's in New York. So if you tell people in Cuba, you need to stop being a communist dictatorship threatening America, you should go somewhere else. You better take the offer. Maduro has nobody to blame but himself. He gave him a way out. He chose to defy Trump and the U.S. military, and his ass is in jail where he deserves to be. And every president has said the same thing, but he did it.
You know, one of the things that is happening, and I think you see it all the time, Howard, you've seen it, that Cuba is ready to fall. You know?
Yes.
Cuba looks like it's ready to fall. I don't know if they're going to hold out. But Cuba now has no income. They got all of their income from Venezuela, from the Venezuelan oil. They're not getting any of it.
That's wild. Y'all see that? Y'all see the president in real time talking about, I'm knocking them down like bowling pins. All these little countries.
Cuba literally is ready to fall. And you have a lot of great Cuban Americans that are going to be very happy about this.
Marco Rubio has really had your ear, it seems, throughout this entire process. I know that Vice President Vance was just down the street when this whole operation was playing out, but would you say that Marco Rubio has your ear more than the Vice President right now?
No, they both do. No, JD is very smart, doing a great job, and so is Marco. No, both.
It sounds like
I would say equal.
The go-to, and you were just talking about Cuba and what could come next there. Are you considering U.S. action in Cuba?
We're not. I think it's just going to fall. I don't think we need any action. It looks like it's going down. It's going down for the count. You ever watch a fight?
I have.
They go down for the count. And Cuba looks like it's going down. What do you think, Howard?
It's going down. They've lived off of Venezuela, right? The economics were all Venezuelan, right? That's why you said the protective force of Maduro was Cuban, right? They were Cuban guards. So they were just paying Cuba when that money stopped.
Don't hire them in the future.
Yeah, they weren't very good.
People from our country who were forced to come over, they really didn't want, they were from Cuba. People from different countries like to stay in those countries, whatever, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent. And people want to go back to Cuba, and they want to work in Cuba, but Cuba's going down for the count. Thank you very much, everybody.
That wild. Cuba's going down for the count. He don't say we want a transition that avoids any kind of suffering. He doesn't say we support the Cuban people by deciding they world. It's narrated like a collapse. He's watching and cheering that this crisis destabilizes everything in that region. Other countries better beware of what the hell is going on. Other countries better beware of what is going on, because this is wild.
President, is Elon Musk back in the fold? You had dinner with him last night at Mar-a-Lago.
Elon's great. I say about Elon, he's 80% super genius and 20% he makes mistakes. But he's a good guy. He's a well-meaning person.
Can I ask you about one more thing that I've been wanting to ask you the last couple of days? You said that you were very...
He's got a lot of questions.
I do have a lot of questions.
Tell him who you were. Go ahead.
I'm with News Nation. My name's Libby D.
Excellent.
So you said that you were really very angry with the Ukrainian President Zelensky if he was the one who conducted that strike on Putin's residence.
I don't believe that strike happened.
Right. So Putin had said in that phone call to you that strike happened. You came out and said that, and you believed Putin. There was some criticism.
There is something that happened fairly nearby, but had nothing to do with this.
Why did you believe Putin in that moment and then go say that about Ukraine?
Because nobody knew at that moment. I mean, that was the first I heard about it.
So why not?
He said that his house was attacked. We don't believe that happened, now that we've been able to check.
Yeah.
But that was the first we ever heard about it. We just hope that Russia and Ukraine get it settled.
Amen.
It's costing us nothing. In fact, we make money because unlike Biden gave $350 billion, gave it away. Now, I got a lot of it back because we did a rare earth deal going into rare earth. And we're going to get a lot of the money back, maybe all of the money, maybe more than all of the money. But we get paid now whenever we send anything, they pay. So this isn't an economic thing for us. This is a soul. This is a situation where on average 25,000 souls, 25,000 soldiers mostly, and some people from Kiev and different cities, but a very small number by comparison.
It's always about getting paid. It's always about getting paid. We're not losing money. it's souls being lost, but not ours. But not ours. You can see how normalizing this mass death that and destruction that's going to happen in the wake. He's justifying all of this stuff. Justifying all of this stuff.
But 25,000 to 30,000 soldiers are being killed every single month. And they're not from America. They're from Russia, and they're from...
Just so casually drop. These people getting broke off. They getting broke off. And it ain't no big deal. No, they just getting broke off, y'all. That's it. And you helping that along, sir.
Ukraine. And if I can get it stopped, I'd like to get it stopped. And I think we will. Thank you very much, everybody.
You've talked about returning some control to American companies. Did that play at all into your decision to capture Maduro?
No. What really played is the fact that he sent millions of people into our country from prisons and from mental institutions and drug dealers and every drug addict and every drug.
All right, this is it, y'all. He laying it out. Maduro's empty prisons, mental hospitals, the same shit he said about the Mexican country is the same shit he's about to say right now. Maduro emptied the prisons, mental patients, sent everybody in the United States, all the drug dealers, all the drug addicts, everything. He laying all that bullshit out like he did before. That's why I can't believe him, because he says the same thing over and over again, thinking that most of us are zombies. Most of us are not zombies. We hear exactly what he's saying. It ain't no all facts. They're not sending drug dealers here. They're not sending drug addicts here. Now, see, we got a goofy in the chat that believe exactly what the president just said, even though it's a straight up lie.
Addict in that country, in his country, was sent into our country. Think of that. Every single drug addict from Maduro's country, which isn't really his country, and it's certainly not his country anymore. Every drug addict and every drug dealer has been sent into our country. Now we're getting them back, but it's a very...
You got to be one goofy person in order to believe that shit right there. You got to be one you need to check your meds.
Laborious job to get them back. Very hard job and of course, we're not getting a lot of good backup from certain judges, from certain radical left.
So this is how you use fear of crime. See, you got the goofies afraid of the fear and the crime, afraid of the crime and the drugs. So this is your moral cover for the regime change and occupation that you're doing. You scaring the American people. Only goofies are scared and believe this shit. You got them believing that they sending drugs and drug dealers and crackheads and crack addicts over here, which they not. Just goofy talk. And you trying to justify you jumping into somebody else's country. Labeling all those people criminals, narco terrorists. We doing defense. I'm saving the American people. Shut the hell up. You just justifying going over there and getting the people oil and destabilizing the union.
But we're doing well on appeals because the people doing the appeals, seems that the judges are much more sane. What these super radical left judges are doing to our country, it's incredible. But if you take a look, Maduro sent hundreds of thousands and even millions of people from jails, from prisons, from mental institutions, drug dealers, drug addicts, everybody. He sent anybody with a problem to it. It can never be forgiven. And other countries have done the same, but nothing like Maduro's done.
During your campaign, you talked about ending American foreign intervention. What changed your mind with Venezuela? What kind of grew your interest there?
The fact that he sent drugs into our country. We're stopping it rapidly with what we're doing with the sea, because they come in, a lot of it comes in by sea, but it's not coming. The drugs coming in, as I said before, by sea are down 97%. You should be saying, thank you very much, President Trump. Great job. Now they can't get anybody to pilot those boats. It's 97%. I'm trying to figure out who are the other 3%.
Would you say that Operation Resolve?
just proud to be blowing ships up. Just proud to be blowing up ships and ending people's lives.
You may be glad and relieved to see Maduro in custody.
The voters that voted for me, let me just tell you, the voters that voted for me are thrilled. They said, this is what
I voted for. Of course you voted for that. Y'all crazy as that. I ain't gonna say you crazy. I'm saying you're deluded. And this is the moral high ground that we're supposed to be trying to get to. Y'all want to lead the country. Y'all want us to follow behind y'all with people like y'all leading the country that are warmongering. That's wild. Oh, the people voted for me. People voted for me. They want this war. They want us to be having these wars. And then they want us to follow behind y'all? I don't think so. Y'all are the warmongering people. No.
So let's just think about it. What is the right response when a country sends in tens of thousands of people to overwhelm your system? When a country is a narco-terrorist state that floods your country with cocaine, that's aligned with Hezbollah, what's the right response?
They are not flooding our country with cocaine. Only goofies believe that.
Blow up the boat before they get here. You take down the source of the problem. President Trump didn't wake up one day and say, hey, let's take Venezuela. He did what other people talked about, but didn't have the balls or the guts to do it. This is a good thing. This is not interventionism. This is making America safer. We're going to be more prosperous because of the business deals. There are going to be Americans alive today because he shut down a narco-terrorist state called Venezuela. This is a good thing, not a bad thing.
And the oil companies are going to go in and rebuild their system. They're going to spend billions of dollars, and they're going to take the oil out of the ground, and we're taking back what they stole. Remember, they stole our property. It was the greatest theft in the history of America. Nobody has ever stolen our property like they have.
I didn't say the cocaine wasn't coming from there. You notice I didn't say that. What I said was they're not flooding our shores full of cocaine. I didn't say it didn't come from there. I said they're not flooding our shores with cocaine. Stop it.
Yeah. They took our oil away from us. They took the infrastructure away. And all that infrastructure is rotted and decayed. And the oil companies are going to go in and rebuild it. We're not going to spend very much money at all, if anything. But the oil companies are going to go, we're going to take our oil back. But we're going to also do things that, when you look at what he did, the drugs are terrible, but also terrible. He sent hundreds of thousands of people into our country that should not be here. And that means from prisons, that means Tren de Aragua, the gang, Tren de Aragua, that comes out of Maduro's country. He was very friendly with that gang. Well, they're having a hard time right now. You know, we had Tren de Aragua all over Washington, D.C., and they got the hell beat out of them. Washington, D.C. is the safest city right now in the United States. Thank you very much.
And that's the only city that you can let the military be in, because the Supreme Court told you to get the hell out of them other cities. Basically, they do the closing out. If the country sends people and drugs, you blow up the boat before they even get here. Lindsey Graham said that. Says this isn't interventionism. It's making America greater again. It's making America safer again. Us blowing up boats. They frame it as something other presidents were too scared to do. Shut your ass up. Then the president admits what the economics is. Oil companies are going to go in. We're going to take the oil back, even though we flooded with oil right now, and the barrels of oil is like $40 or less, where we don't even need the oil. The greatest theft that we got, we're going to go get it back. And then he says, "Was this about oil?" Then somebody asked him, "Was this about oil or regime change?" He said it's about peace on earth. It's our hemisphere. Monroe Doctrine. You don't even know what the fuck he's talking about. So translation is, yeah, it's about control of the region. It's about oil and resources. And it's all wrapped up in the language of peace on earth. And I'm finna help make America great again. Our hemisphere. That's how power justifies itself, you know. Calling it peace, calling it doctrine, calling it safety. Then you got goofies following behind. Yeah, we're Americans. Yeah, let's take everybody else's shit. Yeah. But what we really heard was a bombing, a kidnapping of a sitting goddamn president. Corporate plans for mineral oils, rare earths, open threats against Cuba, Colombia, Mexico, casually talking about missiles and collapsing governments. You can call that many, many things, but that ain't no damn peace on earth. So this wasn't a sad conversation about the cost of war. This was a victory lap that this person took. A sovereign country was bombed. Its president was captured, flown out. Oil, mineral, rare earth were laid out like a shopping list. Let's go get that. And neighboring countries were talked about like possible next targets. I'd be getting my shit in order if I was in one of them countries. I'd be trying to get my shit together. Oh, hell no, he finna come up in here. We heard the threats. We heard the bragging. We heard words like we're in charge, total access. We're going to run things. And the whole thing was wrapped up in the language of peace, safety, make America great again, cleaning up our backyard, all that good stuff. Yeah, all that American language and bullshit. Wrapped up in peace and safety. No. You can agree with that shit. You should be horrified by it. We now have a dictator on our hands. But at least you got to be honest about it. Be honest about it. It's a vision of the United States that believes it has the right to decide who governs, who falls, who gets bombed, who gets access to the resources, as long as they call it peace and America first and security. Oh, it's all good. It's all good. Did you see this as necessary? Some people think it's theft. Oh, it ain't no big deal. Them Venezuelan people celebrate. It ain't no big deal. But are you going to go in there and help the people? Are you going to go in there and help prop up the country? Are you going to use the oil to prop these people up? Or are you just going to go in there and extract resources for your rich friends? Well, let me know. Let me know. And I just got one last thing I wanted to show y'all. One last thing. This is it. One last thing.
Crazy or what?
Y'all hit that like, share, and subscribe button. Hit that like, share, and subscribe. This is him being transferred over to go to court. Arriving in New York. Okay. The U.S. Department of Justice filed an indictment against Maduro back in 2020 for running a narco trafficking conspiracy, allegedly to funnel cocaine into the United States. Multiple Maduro aides have already been convicted in this case. Okay. Normally, a foreign official would be prosecuted only if the crimes directly affected the United States or the statutes allow extraterritorial jurisdiction. Here, the DOJ has argued that the drug circuit reached into the United States, giving U.S. courts legal jurisdiction. Under international law and U.S. law, sitting heads of state typically enjoy sovereign immunity, meaning they can't be arrested or tried in a foreign country's courts for official acts. But the key legal wrinkle is here. The U.S. government has not recognized Maduro as Venezuela's legal legitimate head of the state since 2019 due to alleged election fraud and governance abuses. Okay? Because of this, the U.S. says Maduro does not qualify for sovereign immunity, and the charges against him are treated as ordinary criminal charges. This is exactly the sort of legal dispute seen decades ago in the Manuel Noriega case, another foreign ruler arrested and tried in the United States because the U.S. didn't recognize his government. So while sovereign immunity is normally a shield, here the lack of U.S. recognition of Maduro's presidency is the government's legal basis for bringing him back here, just in case people wondered how can they bring him back here and try him. Y'all hit that like, share, and subscribe button. We have content like this every day. I appreciate the like, share, and the subscribe. How was he brought here? This is where things get extraordinary and legally controversial. Maduro was captured in Venezuela by U.S. military forces during a special operation and transported to the United States. U.S. officials conducted a military action inside another sovereign nation without the nation's consent, something international law usually forbids. Legal scholars say critics will challenge whether this operation violated international law, the U.S. Constitution, and long-standing norms about sovereignty. So the court appearance is just one facet. The capture itself raises other legal and diplomatic issues that will be litigated and debated internationally. So this is where we are. Bottom line is, an ordinary sitting president of another sovereign nation isn't picked up by a foreign military and put in U.S. courtrooms. Sovereign immunity and respect for sovereignties are pillars of international law. But this is an unusual situation here. The U.S. government refuses to recognize Maduro's presidency. Maduro was already criminally indicted in the United States, and the U.S. military operation brought him into U.S. jurisdiction. This is both a legal showdown, sovereign immunity versus criminal indictment, and a geopolitical event with major ramifications for U.S.-Venezuela relations and international norms. So this is where we are with Maduro. Went to court today. He have his yes or no. I'm not guilty. They pleaded not guilty. It was what it was. Okay? It is what it is. So this is where we at today with the news on Maduro. We'll have some more. Tomorrow it's going to be a showdown in the Senate and the House. I don't know what they're going to do in the Senate or the House, but it's going to be something else. You all hit that like, share, and subscribe. I will be back with more content. You know I will. You know I will. I try to bring the juices. Like, share, subscribe. Super chats are great. I'd appreciate some. I'd appreciate one. I appreciate all. But I'll be back. I'll be back.